After being away from the office due to COVID-19 and its pandemic, workplaces are slowly beginning to allow employees to return back to work. Here to help us safely go back to the office is regular contributor to the Huffington Post and business productivity expert, Adriana Girdler. Adriana, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
All right, so let's jump right in. What do people need to know in order to go back to work in a safe manner?
Well, first of all, it's not just the responsibility of the employer, it's the employees as well. It's actually in everyone's best interest to ensure health and safety in the office.
Okay, so what should the individual do, the employee? What should they do?
Wear a mask, particularly when you're at the office in public spaces. You know, those droplets really do travel, and you want to ensure you don't infect anybody. And two really core things that I think we don't think about when it comes to individuals and what we can do at the office. And the first one is really improve your meeting skills. And how does that relate to COVID? Well, it's not business as normal, where you're gonna have tons of meetings in a cramped meeting room. You may really have to reevaluate how you do that. So you're probably gonna wanna have meetings or just conversations like this. You want it on a virtual call with everyone at their desk. But if you have other meetings where you have to create and brainstorm, well, then you're gonna wanna do it in an office or in a meeting itself, a meeting room, but really break it out. And the last tip that for sure is you may want to consider becoming a nomad. And what I mean by that is you may want to give up your dedicated office space because we have a false sense of security whenever we think that we're safe. And so becoming a nomad and having cleaning supplies with you, you can sort of travel and ensure that you're constantly safe when it comes to COVID.
Okay, so your office is saying, come back to work. We want you to come back to work. You have to come back to work. Tell me what employers and businesses can do to make it an environment safe for the employees.
Well, you really need to be proactive with this. So the first thing I always suggest is ensure that your organization creates a traceability list on employees who are there that day. Because this is a proactive activity. If someone by chance actually gets COVID and you were in the office when they were there, you want to know immediately. So creating that traceability list on a daily basis is just going to be very proactive if something should happen.
And also, the old-fashioned way of cleaning is not exactly up to par in what we need these days.
No, for sure. I mean, there's a higher level of diligence that has to have happen. You even have to consider filters, actually, upgrading those air filters. You also really want to take a look at educating your employees too, distributing a COVID safety package to them. So they themselves could also take some responsibility too.
And the last point I want to mention before you go is the idea that they call them landing pads, the idea that maybe you don't return to a standard office, but maybe you return to an area that's shared by others because that means you're less likely to have clutter and leave things around.
Definitely. That's that whole concept of becoming a nomad, right? Of not having to go to a certain desk. There, a lot of organizations are contemplating that with going back is how do we get that sort of hotel concept? So there's a lot of value to that. Just bring what you need and gives you flexibility. And when you have that flexibility, it also helps with your productivity too, because you can just focus on what you need to get done.
You know what? This is such great advice. We hope that people, if they have to go back to work, can go back safely. But these tips will definitely be well used and well appreciated. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me.